Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I've been here for 7 years. I haven't risen on a point of personal privilege, and I probably get attacked in the media more than most. It's the nature of the position and of being a contrarian, and I accept that gladly. But when there's a larger issue at stake, I'm going to stand up and defend that larger issue, and that is an issue of fundamental notions of privacy in our medical decisions. So I want to read to you from a columnist named David Collins in the New London Day. So he goes through all these Connecticut representatives disclose their position on taking a vaccine, and he starts, quote, "Most shocking to me was the response in Rhode Island by Representative Blake Filippi of Block Island, whose district also covers Charlestown and parts of South Kingstown and Westerly, telling the newspaper it was none of anyone's business. He quotes me, "Respectfully, I won't respond to any query that seeks details on such personal and private medical decisions," he told the newspaper. Mr. Collins goes on, "If Filippi is so adamant about the secrecy of his health, especially as it pertains to public health, he ought to give up his elected office and live as privately as he likes. If the lawmaker got a shot and won't admit it because of some perceived political bias against vaccinations among his constituents, then shame on him. If he didn't get a shot because of some medical complication, he could just say that and surely no one would press him for details. Filippi is the House Minority Leader, and failing to address the issue of vaccinations and how they can help us all is a decided failure of leadership." And then he compares Fisher Island to Block Island and says, "But it seems clear Block Island's representative wasn't going to help them get better access to vaccines." None of that is true. It's unfortunate that in this country, we are not respecting individuals' rights to privacy. It would have been much easier for me to just say, yeah, I got a shot, or no, I don't want to get a shot. But the real issue out there is how people are being pressured to disclose their private medical decisions, and that is completely inappropriate. And I want to explain my rationale for it. So these COVID vaccines, and I encourage anyone, if you feel comfortable getting a vaccine, get it. It's your choice. It is no one has the right to inquire or pressure you to disclose that private medical choice. So after the atrocities that happened in World War II, the medical atrocities that happened, there was the Nuremberg trials, Mr. Speaker. And the Nuremberg trials set forth medical ethics as it relates to experimental vaccines. It is undisputed that these vaccines are experimental. They have not received full FDA authorization. They are proceeding under emergency use authorization. By their very nature, they are experimental. So the Nuremberg Code laid out how people are supposed to be treated with experimental medical treatments. The first item in the Nuremberg Code states as follows, and here's the introduction. It is the judgment of the War Crimes Tribunal at Nuremberg laid down 10 standards to which physicians must conform when carrying out experiments on human subjects in a new code that is now accepted worldwide. It deals with human rights. Number 1, the voluntary consent of the human subject is absolutely essential. This means that the person involved should have legal capacity to give consent, should be so situated as to be able to exercise free power of choice without intervention or any element of force, fraud, deceit, duress, overreaching, and here's the pertinent language, or other ulterior form or constraint or coercion. What I see going on out there is people being pressured to partake in this medical experiment. I think people should partake it if they feel comfortable. But there is shaming going on, there is undue pressure, there are people attacking people. I'm being attacked for refusing to say whether I will engage in this medical treatment or not. It is not appropriate. We all, I think, as a society, need to take a look in the mirror as to what we are doing as it relates to pressuring others to engage in medical treatment. Frankly, even if this wasn't experimental, no one should be pressured to engage in medical treatment or lambasted for refusing to disclose their private medical choice. We are better than that, and we, I think, need to have a little more temperance when dealing with each other. You don't know whether I have a medical condition or a mental condition that doesn't allow me to take vaccines. You don't know whether I've taken one or not. It's no one else's business. Now, I could have said, yeah, I took one, or no, I'm not going to take it, and it would have been easier than dealing with this garbage that's been written about me. But there's a larger issue at stake. It's something we all need to respect, and that is privacy in medical decisions. And I'm fearful where we're going as a society as it relates to the way we're treating each other during this pandemic, and we have to take a look in the mirror. Thank you, Speaker.